Hi David, just a brief video explaining the steps I took to translate your latest NYVer data and get it into a form where it can be uploaded. I've tested it. I'll send you the files, and so you can see, you can see what it involves and do it in the future. And also, I've tested it. I'm actually running a copy of the website here. This is not the actual website; it's my development copy, and I've tested the upload, and as you can see, it has worked. I just need to get you to check some of the header information, which I'll explain in a minute, but it's done its stuff, and there's some rogue values in the reference stars at the end. I think you mentioned that the last dip was taken in at dawn or something like that, so I would recommend chopping the last few rows off the file before you upload it, but that's just a detail. But anyway, so let me show you what I actually did. So that's what it's going to look like at the end. This is the file. This is in a text editor. This is in Notepad++, and this is the actual simple comma separated file that we actually upload, and the specification of that file is the one that I've sent you in the Word document, which is the upload file specification. It explains what the header information is, and then there's a header followed by a table, and then it explains what the column headers are, and what the actual values are meant to be. Now, there's a lot of this stuff that I haven't been able to get from your data because I don't know it well enough, and I dare say that you can probably fill in some of the stuff. It doesn't matter. I mean, these are all the things that we agreed we would have in the specification. The main thing is that you upload the Julian dates and the values of the magnitude values and the magnitude values of the reference stars. The other stuff is kind of not mandatory, but it is quite nice if you can fill in some of the gaps that I haven't done. Anyway, so the next thing I just want to mention before we get cracking is this is the file from Dropbox, which is the reference stars file, and because the names, the GSCs, or the names of the stars, the catalog names, are actually used and uploaded. I noticed that you're using like reference 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. And I'm hoping this is correct because I've done this in the last couple of months. I've assumed that these reference numbers here in the reference number column are actually corresponding to these GSC values. So I've just translated where you've said reference 1, I've put in GSC 4966543. Okay, so I'm hoping that that's correct. I was guessing that these are the numbers that you were using in your spreadsheets. Okay, so let's put that to one side. Now let's go back and have a look at this is the spreadsheet that you sent me yesterday or today, and basically again there, so these are the reference 1, 2, 3. Now we only need 3 reference stars to be uploaded for the specification of the upload, so you can choose which ones you want to upload, so what I've done is I've taken a copy of this sheet, I've called it source data, and then I've created some calculated columns so that they make it easy for me to build the final sheet. Now I think it'll be easy for you to set this up going forwards, just basically replacing values in these sheets and outputting a CSV file. So source data sheet here is where I've done the calculations. All I've done is I've taken the reference magnitudes from the George's original reference star spreadsheet for the 3 stars. I've put their names in, I've put reference 2 mag, reference 3 mag, and then I've just calculated the difference in magnitude, the O minus, the observed minus the real value from these figures. So because when you look at the specification, you'll notice that what we do, if we look at the output in here, for each star we put the name and the magnitude of the star that it should be, and then the observed difference. We also put in the ADU value, which again I haven't been able to take. John and I output the ADU values in our outputs. Again, these are not mandatory, but if it's possible to get them from your processing, it would be great. So this block of 4 columns is reference star 1, this block is reference star 2, etc., etc. And then we've got the previous columns. The first column is the Julian date, and it is just the JD without being calculated as the BJD, because when the file gets uploaded, the system will calculate the BJDs because it knows the location of the observatory that you took it from. So it calculates the BJDs. So don't put BJDs in this column. Put Julian dates, regular, normal, heliocentric ones. Then there's the magnitude of the variable, and then there are other ones that again we get from our system. These ones here, which I haven't been able to get. Again, maybe you might be able to get the full width half maximum values, the background value. Now we use check stars, and I'm not quite sure. I've never quite understood what we use a check star and reference stars. I've just taken reference stars from here. Okay, so this even though quite a few of the columns don't have values, I've just put zeros in as defaults. It all works and it all uploads correctly, as you can see. As I said, with regard to the header values, I got these last month. I took your fit files and I opened up the fit files that you'd put on Dropbox, and I had a look inside the fits header, and I pulled out the binning and the image scale I calculated from the telescope, and the exposure you were using 40 seconds last month. I'm guessing you're using 40 seconds this month, and I took the seeing from the header as well. So these values here I'd want you, if possible, to check. And the other thing I don't know is I don't know what the apertures you're using in your photometric software, you know, the 3 radii of the apertures around the stars that are used for the photometric calculations. So I just put 0, 0, 0 in for those. So that's something that you might consider having a look at to make it better than I've done so far. Okay, so the basic process is your original data, copying the data and calculating the differences in magnitudes and putting the names in, and then translating those columns and putting them into a spreadsheet here which is going to become the comma separated file. So to get Excel to create a CSV of just this sheet, I'm sure you know all about this, but it's a bit not that easy with Excel. You do an export and then you change the file type to CSV comma delimited, and then you do a save as, and then you give it the file name with a CSV extension, and you do a save. And yeah, I won't bother replacing what I've done, and then you save a CSV, and it says to you, oh, you know, you can only save the active sheet, which is fine, because all we want to get is a CSV file, a text comma separated file, which I've got opened up in this text editor, and then this is the file that you upload into the website, which is done. I mean, I've done this in the other video, but basically it's, you know, when you create a new observation, you go to observations, you say add new observation, you select the star, NY-ver, you select the I think it's this Warren Bungle 432mm. That was what you had last month, so I just, again, you need to tell me which is the right one, or I need to check it on in the fit files. And then you put your comments, you know, saying you know, great seeing, or terrible seeing, or whatever it is, so any comments of any note, and then you choose the file. Here it is, it's the CSV file, which is that text file. You select it, and then you press submit. So if I submit, I'll get another copy of the observation in the list, and it's just doing that. And again, don't forget, this is a copy of the website. I'm not actually adding it, and you can see now I've got 2 copies of the same observation, and if I view it, you'll see the observation in website form. If you have made a blunder, if you feel that you need to change the comments, or if you feel that you want to perhaps remove some samples, or you want to change the header because you've got something wrong, you neglected to put in your apertures or whatever it is, all you do is go to the observations. You can't you can't actually edit it, you can just delete it. So if I go to you go to the observation listing, you go edit delete, and then you go delete, and it will delete that observation. Then you change the text file and just re-upload it. I'll delete this other one as well because I had 2 copies of it. And that, in other words, editing is best done by deleting, changing the file, and then re-uploading, and no harm is done. Okay, so that's it. So the basic process is trying to translate your spreadsheet into a sheet which is of the right format as described in my document, and then exporting that sheet as a CSV file and then uploading it. And I'm hoping that if you put these sort of templates, if you like, into your spreadsheets going forward, it's just a matter of changing the Julian dates, the magnitudes and the columns, and it's just a cut and paste process, and then export, and it doesn't take more than a few minutes to get it done. Okay, so that's that. What I want to do going forward, I want to get the system to accept Excel spreadsheets rather than just CSV files, which is what I've done with the O-C. But the technology that I started with was using simple text files, and in the future I'll upgrade it so that we can just actually upload an Excel spreadsheet without having to translate it, and it'll be a bit quicker. But we haven't got that at the moment, so we are where we are. So that's it. So I hope that's been useful, and I'll email a link to this video for you